Fellow patriots, this isn't just a speech, it's a turning point in American history. President Trump just stood in front of the entire Republican Congress and laid it all out. The victories, the fight, the truth, and the betrayal. From signing the largest trade deal in world history to passing what he calls the one big beautiful bill, Trump showed us that with grit, unity, and America First policies, we're not just surviving, we're winning again. And let me tell you, this wasn't just policy talk. It was a call to action, a reminder that faith, family, and the Constitution are still the backbone of this country. And, yes, he dropped a bombshell about Barack Obama and election fraud that the mainstream media will never tell you. So if you care about your freedoms, your family, and your flag, strap in, because what Trump revealed might just change the course of 2024 and be.
I approve of the way that the administration has handled the Epstein debacle, or whatever it's called. You know, it's hard to say, hard to know. I know that there's some laws involved. I've been watching when they talk about getting the grand jury testimony revealed, released. I guess it's going to be highly, highly marked up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Don't play one on TV. Is this something that's normally done? Is this highly unusual? Will people fault the Trump administration for doing it the way they do? I don't know that much about the law, but I do know this. It needs to come to an end. They need to get all this out that they can and then say, okay, we're done.
Well, there's never been a president more transparent than President Trump, and he ordered the release of the documents related to the Epstein file. I trust President Trump. I trust the Department of Justice that they are going to release those files and, of course, keep the victims and those that are innocent safe throughout that process. And you know, that's what people wanted. That's what he talked about. And again, I'm going to trust that process. It continues to be a political game right now. This is something that Democrats haven't talked about before, certainly not during the Biden administration. Now, all of a sudden, this is becoming a political game. And these are heinous acts that have happened over the last few decades. And again, President Trump will be doing what's right. And, you know, of course, he did order the release of those documents.
Beyond. One. Historic trade deal with Japan. Trump signed the biggest trade agreement in history, done through tough negotiations with Japan. He called it a deal for everybody, one that brings real wealth back to the American worker and slams the door on bad globalist policies. 2. Republican House victory. Despite odds with a razor-thin majority at one point, just one vote House, Republicans passed more promises than any Congress in decades. Trump praised Speaker Mike Johnson and Majority Leader Steve Scalise for working deep into the night, answering 4 a.m. calls to fight for America. 3. The power of prayer and patriotism. Former NFL player Scott Turner led a heartfelt prayer from inside the White House. He thanked Trump for his sacrifices, praised his leadership, and reminded us all that God is still on the throne, even in dark times like these. And Trump gave space for this moment in front of national media. That speaks volumes. 4. Border chaos and immigration warning. Trump sounded the alarm. Millions of illegal immigrants have flooded our borders, and many are violent criminals, over 11,000 known murderers. He blamed Biden and the Democrats for opening the gates, while boasting about achieving 0 illegal crossings in June under his renewed leadership. 5. Obama and election fraud revelation. Tulsi Gabbard was hailed for uncovering what Trump described as irrefutable proof that Barack Obama and his team cheated. In the 2020 election, Trump didn't hold back, calling them vicious thugs and saying flat out, "We won. We had to do it again because they stole it." 6. Energy independence and investment boom. Trump celebrated $16 trillion in investments, thanks to streamlined energy permits and LNG deals in Alaska. EPA Chief Lee Zeldin has cut red tape from 12 years down to weeks, helping unleash American energy dominance. 7. The one big beautiful bill. Instead of 7 small bills, Trump pushed for one bold, unified bill, and it passed. This package included the largest tax cut in history, the largest spending cut in history, the largest border security investment in history, no tax on tips, overtime, or Social Security. He called it a game changer, and frankly, he's right. 8. Bipartisan internet safety laws. Trump applauded the Take It Down Act, aimed at removing harmful online content targeting children. He noted that it got widespread Democrat support, a rare moment of unity. 9. Foreign policy wins in the Middle East. Trump bragged about bringing home $5.1 trillion in investment from Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar. He said it plainly. We didn't ask, we took it back. 10. Praise for cabinet and patriot leaders throughout the speech. Trump thanked his team from Linda McMahon to SBA head Kelly Loeffler, highlighting strong, fearless leaders who love this country and are fighting to protect it.
Government accountability. This is not an issue that Democrats were really drumming the beat of, or drumming the drum of, beating the drum of. It really was something that Donald Trump and his allies made into an issue. What happened is clearly egregious, immoral, terrible behavior, but the focus on this came from Donald Trump. And Pam Bondi said that they have files, she's going to release them, and now all of a sudden there are no files to release. So it's either a cover-up or they're blatantly lying. And either way, when your government is lying to you, you don't trust them. And so we need to be transparent, and they need to come forward with the files or disclose why they were lying about it.
Unfortunately, Epstein has brought a massive roadblock to the effectiveness of this congressional body. And it is just creating this bottleneck because the committee can't effectively meet because of this onslaught of amendments dealing with Epstein. I don't care. I don't care what gets dumped, but all I know is I'm not up here able to do my job. I hate wasting time, and this is a colossal waste of time. But you know what? If it allows us to move forward, dump them out there. I don't care. But I know I want to work for the citizens of Florida to make their lives better, more prosperous. I want to give them more freedom, but this thing does not help.
I support full transparency here, as do the American people and the people of New York 22. So in an attempt to achieve that level of transparency, what has happened in the Rules Committee, which I support, are proposed amendments. Those amendments say that the Epstein files should be released. No one should be supporting human trafficking and certainly these awful violations against children. So what the Speaker has done is basically stopped the legislative process so these amendments cannot be added to legislation, not even brought before the Rules Committee, because what we've seen is not always all of the Republicans, but the majority of Republicans are voting down these amendments in the Rules Committee. If it did advance through the Rules Committee, it would go to a floor vote, and I would support that vote in releasing these files and providing that transparency. Well, we've heard this repeatedly throughout the campaign from the current president that the Epstein files would be released. And now what we see is a blocking of that transparency. So even some of the president's most vocal and loyal supporters are calling for this transparency, and it simply does not make sense. So the people are demanding this. I support it. And to stop the legislative process to block that transparency is really concerning. And the American people are seeing through this. They're frustrated, and they're calling for action. We are approaching what would be called, quote unquote, our summer break here, which means we're not going to be back in session until September. And as a result, that transparency is not coming. We will see what will happen in the interim.
Folks, this wasn't just a celebration. It was a warning and a promise. Trump exposed how deep the rut goes from open borders to stolen elections, and how hard we'll have to fight to restore our country. But he also reminded us that we're not alone. We have truth. We have faith. We have the Constitution. And we have a leader who isn't afraid to name names. Take on the globalists and do what others only promise. This is more than politics. This is about saving the soul of our nation. And as Trump said, if we hadn't won this election, we might not even have a country left, but we did. And now it's our job to stand with him. Speak up and never back down. Drop A in the comments if you stand with Trump and the America First movement. Like this video, share it with 5 friends, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the truth, because the battle for 2024 has already begun, and we will win.